Testing, testing, testing. All right. Give me a thumbs up if it sounds good. Let me know. Let me know. Does it sound good? We off to a good start? Talk to me. Talk to me. Man, I'm so excited to be back. I'm so freaking excited to see y'all. Let me know how it sound. Let me know. Hey, Tulip. Glad you're here. Before I get started, I just want to make sure, like, how does it sound? Does it sound good? Does it sound audible? Make sure you drop a like as you enter the chat, like Tulip said. How's it sound? Audio is good. Perfect. Okay. Yeah, if you hear a slight hiss in the background, just know that's my computer working extra hard alongside with me to bring you everything basketball. So let's get this started. Welcome to the No Bull Podcast, or welcome back to the No Bull Podcast. I am your host, Brianna Bull, and I'm bringing you everything basketball. I'm so grateful to be here. I've missed you all. I've missed you so very much. Already got my favorites in the chat. We got some stuff to talk about, okay? All right, it's like 16 games left in the regular season for the WNBA, and this has been a wild ride. We are on a road to 500 subscribers, and we're about 30 away, because that would be like a huge milestone. And expect me to be switching my like streaming platform soon, and I will be dropping videos, like cuts, edits of all these wonderful things. Like, obviously I love going live and I won't stop going live, but I gotta start making progress, right? Leveling up every time, getting better every day, right? Okay, but I'm just excited to see everybody in the chat. Tulip, shout out to Tulip, shout out to Dame, Scotty Boy 36, WB in the chat. What's up? Man Down Sports is in the chat. Mel's going live after this, by the way. So we're going to head over after this live, head over to Man Down Sports channel and check out his live and what he's going to bring to the table in this basketball community. And, yeah, let's just, enough introductions, right? We got to talk basketball. Because remember, if you know bull, you know ball. All right, let's get started. Okay, so as you can see, we got calendar versus careers. What the heck is that, Bree? What is it? All right, we're going to see soon. Then we're going to talk about Caitlin Clark, obviously. Come on. ESPN just dropped the news a couple hours ago, what's going on with her, not just on the court, but off the court as well. And then we have a race to September. We all know the regular season comes to an end and the playoffs begin come September 14th, I believe, is that Sunday, 3 days after the regular season ends. So it's like 14th or 15th, one of the two. But yeah, it's a race, and we're going to talk about what the top look like, the bottom look like, in the middle. Like, we're going to talk about it all. All right. And then tonight's tip-offs, because we have some tip-off tension. I'm going to call it that. Kind of pause it. I mean, I don't really need to pause. I'm a female, but I'm going to pause it anyway. Tip-off tension. Yeah, we got some of that because the two games that are on tonight, all teams included in this. Maybe Mercury doesn't have too much at stake, but there's 3 other teams in this running that are battling for that 7th and 8th seed position in the playoffs, and I think tonight is going to determine a lot. And obviously, you all know this. So yeah, that is what we were talking about today. Without further ado, let's get started. Again, make sure you drop a like if you haven't already. Subscribe, hit that subscribe button. Share it with your friends. Bring them all to the table to talk. Whether you think they agree or not, we want to hear everybody's opinion in the chat. Get a conversation going, right? Let's talk ball. And also, thank you to everyone who's already subscribed, part of the community. You all, heart to you. Okay, let's get started. First thing on the list is calendar versus careers. What could I mean by that? Well, we all know that the WNBA is on a grind right now. I'm going to call it the 2025 WNBA grind because they're grinding for more money, more views, more teams, just more revenue. They're grinding for like a lot of space in the market. They're on a grind. Not only the women, but the WNBA as a whole, right? Including Kathy. You feel me? So from a scheduling perspective, I want to hone in on the fact that from last year to this year, the WNBA went from 36 games to 44 games. Part of the reason we all think, which is pretty like low-hanging fruit, I'm going to grab that off the tree, is they introduced the new team, Golden State Valkyries, right? So they expanded to 13 teams. Now next year, they're adding the Portland Fire, which they got their name now, Portland Fire, and then the Toronto Tempo will be joining the league, making it 15 teams. But here's the thing. They added, 9 more games? Wait, am I doing the right math? 8 more games, so 36 to 44. It's 8 more games. But they didn't give the season any more days. So that's 8 extra games crammed into basically the same window. So what does that look like for the WNBA? And stay with me because I'm about to get to my point. Teams have an average of 2.7 rest days now, which dropped down from last year or the year before, it was 4. So they have their 33% drop in recovery time. Okay? And so what I see the union that's in the WNBA, which is the WNBPA, the Women's National Basketball Players Association, which is head by, like we said in our previous NECA, Ugamake, who plays for the Seattle Storm. She's the president. And then you have a whole bunch of veterans that are like over 30 years old in this is union people, right? And they're trying to use like the schedule and associate it with player injury risk in order to get the league to pay them more. Let me just keep talking about putting into perspective the schedule, right? It's not just about the schedule, it's about the flights, the travels, the gameplay, everything associated in the wear and tear on their bodies throughout this throughout the season. So I want to note that the WNBA flight travel is not the same as the NBA flights, or at least it used to not be, but it has been improving. Okay, so WNBA teams traditionally have flown commercial airlines due to their financial constraints and some collective CBA rules that just it wasn't allowed unless it was cleared in advance. In May 2024, the league launched a phase called the Charter Flight Program to improve travel logistics. Starting with back-to-back games and playoff travel, the league rolled out the full charter used across all teams, funded at approximately $25 million. So essentially, the league kicked out $25 million so women can get this charter program similar to their compadres in the NBA, because that's what the NBA do. Like, not all teams have private jets, and they don't always use these private jets, but for the most part, they do charter flights. And reportedly, a pilot from Delta indicated that the teams are now flying private terminals that go straight to the buses. They bypass long lines, layovers, and any fatigue that may come with the crowd in the crowded airport space, you know? However, despite these efforts, despite all of that, veterans in the union, like Satu Sabali, because we already know she said that slap in the face comment, but what I think, I talked about that, but what I really want to focus on is not the part about the money and the slap in the face about that, but what she said paired with it. She said that she's calling it terrible that she feels like the league doesn't care about player safety. So here's what I think about all this. So I gave you all of that rundown, right? Because I'm about to hit y'all with what I think about it and what I've been thinking about. And just because I see a lot of heat on Kathy, I see a lot of heat on the WNBA owners, and I see where the women are coming from. And I kind of want to speak from the side of the league and maybe what these owners are thinking. And then I want to mostly speak from a fan perspective and the narratives that I see not only the media are pushing, but the own women inside the WNBA are pushing, and it's not making any sense to me, y'all. Union reps like Satu Sabali, they're linking these schedule concerns directly to getting paid more. And to me, that's dangerous. Because if the narrative becomes the more we play, the more we get hurt, so just pay us to make it worth it, that doesn't exactly solve the issue. It's like saying, if you cut years off my career, just write me a bigger check. You see what I'm saying? Like, to me, that doesn't protect the player health, and it doesn't change how the schedule is built. It just makes it look like safety is negotiable, or that safety has a price tag. You know, and I'm not comfortable with that. I'm not okay with that narrative, and I don't see it being fruitful for the women. Like, sure, they might get paid more, but look at how it's gonna, the perception. It doesn't play into the public perception well. It kind of puts it in a position where it doesn't make y'all look good, doesn't make the league look good. And to me, even if you're not getting along with the league's decisions or the money that they're giving you, I don't think you should be going on this campaign already at the height, the peak that y'all at right now, kind of shit, like pooping on the league. I just don't think that's it just doesn't make sense to me, and that's where it's really frustrating to hear. Because if I'm an owner, why would I invest more just to hear the public say, oh, the league doesn't care about public safety, but hey, at least the players are cashing in? Like, if I'm a business owner, that's not what I want the media to say. That's not what people want to say. Oh, yeah, I mean, the safety of the players didn't change. They added more games, more schedule, but at least they're getting paid more. I don't think people are really thinking this through. Like, really think about this through. It undermines both sides. I mean, it feeds the critics, and then it feeds and creates a perception that women are selling their safety instead of demanding solutions. Because getting paid more, to me, isn't a solution to better refs, a safer environment for them. Like, you know, it's just like, why aren't they celebrating enough of the progress? It just doesn't seem like it's enough. It's enough. And is it only ever are y'all gonna stop talking about the concerns of the league once the checks start coming in? Is that what we're saying? And that's the perception I'm starting to get. You feel what I'm saying? So I think the smarter play is, let's change the narrative. Let's change that narrative. Push for scheduling reform, better infrastructure, more recovery time, better medical support, smarter travel policies. You know, that to me says we value our health and our performance, and we expect the league to do the same. That's the narrative it should be, in my opinion. Because the truth is, getting paid more doesn't make a torn ACL hurt any less. Sure, you got money in your bank account, but your foot broke. You can't play. I thought you wanted to play. I thought you loved the game. Or if you're just really here to collect the check, then why should the league value you any more than what you do on the court then? Let's really start talking about it. Y'all want to talk about getting paid more than what? Let me see these numbers. Let me see them turnovers go down. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's bigger conversations. So I'm just hoping that the women stop shooting themselves in the foot with how they're portraying what they want from the league. And no wonder they're at a current standstill with these CBA negotiations. And again, October is approaching. This year is going by fast. We're almost at the end of August, and there's still the talks of a WNBA lockout is a month and is greater than the freaking playoff talk. They're talking more about the expansion, the WNBA, all these narratives, and the players playing well or not. I mean, players showing up, just negative lights more than they're even talking about the freaking game. Here I am sitting here talking about it. You see what I'm saying? I'm not digging it. Patrick Beverley wasn't digging it either. So in the 3 days I was gone, obviously y'all probably tuned in or you seen or you didn't see this your first time seeing. Patrick Beverley said, all right now, come on now. Y'all had me. The W had me. Beverly said, these ladies deserve more money, but come on, man. You got to play back-to-backs. You got to. It's part of it. I'm all with it, but don't lose me there now. And I felt that to my soul. Like, I literally, as a former basketball player, as a lover of the game, as an athlete, I'm talking to those athletes out there who know what's up. Like, you don't even gotta be an athlete, but just people who gotta show up and have like a physically demanding job. This is what you signed up for. You signed up for it. So don't stop leveraging that as a reason for you to get paid more. Like, it's not. I don't think that's smart. And there's a smarter play out there, and they just haven't found it yet. I'm all for trying to find other solutions. But let's just go to this question I have, and then I'll check the chat because I've been going crazy. Is the WNBA trading health for profit? And maybe I should have said not the WNBA, but I guess because we're going to include the players, we're going to include the owners. Like, you know what I mean? This is, to me, the bigger conversation. Read between the lines here, y'all. Read between the lines. What's up, Randy Mayo? Welcome to the chat. Got the wave in the basketball. Green Ghost Official, welcome to the chat. We got Chicago Cheetah in the building. We got Zoe. I don't think I've ever seen Zoe before. Zoe said, let's see what Zoe was saying. New guy, what's up? Welcome to the chat. I'm just reading the chat. I'm trying to catch up. Oh, and I got my contacts in, so I don't have to squint like a grandma today. Thank goodness. I hate coming on here complaining about my woes. It's always something though. Like, my goodness. Bruce Morrow said, when I look at the schedule, yes, there are back-to-backs, but sometimes they go days without playing. Bruce Morrow said expanding rosters would be a solution for me. I want to point out that they only allow up to 12 spots per roster. And I know in the NBA, I don't know too much, but I think even though like 12 is, there was at one point, because I remember J. Cole dropped the line, he said, but they only got 12 slots on the Pistons. I feel like there can be more players on a team in the NBA. I want to look that up. But you're right. Like right now, they can't go past 8. I mean, sorry, 8 is the number that you need to have if you need to sign like quick contracts and stuff, like you down bad. But I'm at 12. Can't go past 12. Green Ghost Official said LeBron spends $1 million per year on recovery. Money helps. Yeah, money all does help. Mel said, I don't wish back-to-backs on women. Their bones and joints are just different. Give them a little more rest than the men. We got to respect women for how their vessel was created different than ours. I'm a woman, and, like, I appreciate you throwing that point out there. However, I don't like the idea where we can pick and choose when we're gonna hold women to the same standard as men. So women want to get paid just as much as men, but we got this contingency, this condition, this and this and that. Or, I just don't want to go into that space. And we can talk biology and the considerations in certain ways, but that's like walking a fine line there to try to put that point out there, because it doesn't bid well for a woman when they're out here trying to compare themselves. The women in the league obviously compare themselves to the men in their league. How do I know? Well, because of Aaliyah Boston's comment about, just like the NBA All-Star game, we went out there in our All-Star game and we just had fun. Like, girl, what the heck does the NBA All-Star game have to do with your WNBA All-Star game? You see what I'm saying? But that's the mentality they got. So that's a fine line to walk when we're talking about a woman's capabilities and body versus a man, and we should get more rest. If anything, we bear to hold a lot of pain. A lot of pain. I don't want to argue pains. I just don't. I don't want to talk that. I don't want to talk pains. Random Dude said, rule-wise, they can get rid of screens because players are getting concussions on screens. Get rid of screens? I love that we're proposing solutions, though. We're not just coming to the table with critiques. We're trying to think of other things, right? The autism boy said, oh, asked about Caitlyn. We gonna get to Caitlyn. But I think Caitlyn overrated, and I see soon. I'm gonna have the comments on the screen. Just wait, y'all. Okay. But yeah, I guess the question, I don't know if y'all had answered it or not, but is the WNBA trading health for profit? Are they? Are y'all tired of the narratives? I'm tired of these narratives that they trying to push to get what they want, though. There has to be a better way. If I was in the league, and I wanted more money, what way would I try to get more money? I mean, if I was at the league at this time, I would just honestly just bite the bullet. Like back then, when I was hooping, we didn't get paid in college for sponsorships and deals. I unfortunately just missed out on that. You feel me? That came a few years later. You know, I think these women are just gonna miss out on the huge payouts. Like that's the reality. Like they're really trying to force it. They're gonna get paid more, but damn, it's gonna be different in 10 years. At least we hope. But they gotta be careful, man. They gotta be careful. And I don't think they're being careful. I feel like the women in the league are being way reckless with how they trying to get what they want. A little too reckless, if you ask me. Okay, so we spent about 20 minutes on that topic. It's a great topic, great consideration. We are going to keep our eye out. Like I said, there's a potential WNBA lockout in our future if they cannot reach a new CBA agreement with the league, and with the pressure that the women are putting. I think although it's a negative, they are putting pressure. So we do anticipate an agreement to be reached. Just will it be before the deadline? You know, and I'm excited. I'll be excited to talk about that as we head into the NBA season. Excited for that too. But okay, getting ahead of myself. What's up, JT? Welcome to the chat. Oh, Real Money said there's not enough good basketball to even have a whole show discussing basketball. Let's address that part. If there wasn't any drama, we wouldn't have enough X's and O's to talk. So I want to be honest with you, though. If you were to go back to my earlier streams, I would spend like hours talking just basketball. I recently have went a little more of like the informative route on certain topics that I think have a direct impact to the on-court experience. But I don't want to downplay basketball and what it has to offer us. Despite, I think if we stay focused on basketball and keep that at our core, we won't knock all the great things that are happening out there. That's one thing I want to do is what these professionals are doing. At least some of them, they're still getting out there and they're trying. I don't want to knock that. Yes, I want these professionals in the NBA, WNBA, even college, I want them to give it they all, and I want to encourage them to do better, and I want to hold them accountable as well. But I don't want to sit here and say that there's not enough good basketball going on, because there's still good basketball going on. You must be excited for football. You excited for football too? Okay. All right. So, again, I appreciate everyone that's in here right now. Make sure if you haven't already, drop a like. Subscribe if you haven't. If you like what I'm saying. If you don't, hop in the chat. Tell me why. Let's talk about it. Just remember, if you know bull, you know ball. All right. Let's move on to the next topic. Okay. We are going to go to Caitlin Clark. I don't know why I just whispered that. All right. Let's talk about the moment every Fever fan has been waiting to hear. And maybe it's not Fever fan, because what I've learned, there's a difference between an Indiana Fever fan and a Caitlin Clark fan. Lately, you can't tell you can tell there's a huge difference. You used to not be able to tell the difference, and now it's like you either really like Indiana Fever or you really like Caitlin Clark. Like, when did it change? But it's changing, and I want to talk about all this pressure that this young lady is getting. Because, yes, it looks exciting from a perspective of her returning and signing this deal, but I also want to talk about the possible pressures and where this can go for her in her career. You know, I'm a little concerned for Caitlin a little bit, not going to lie, y'all. So, like I said, earlier today, ESPN dropped an article saying that Caitlin Clark is stepped onto the court for a shoot around. So she participated in shoot around. However, she didn't do any contact drills. But we already know she's been working out for the past month because of that recent article that dropped about her bone bruise. Go check out my last stream where I talk about that. Because I talk about like Caitlin. And because I already said the thing about Angel. Is Angel hurt or holding out? Then I still said the same thing about Caitlyn. Is she hurt or is she holding out? And I'm not saying that these women are faking injuries. That's not what I'm saying. All right? Shout out to the Angel Restands that be hating on me. Shout out to y'all. I'm not saying they're faking their injury, but I'm saying they're being strategic and smart about returning, or they're not always giving us the real deal, 100% true to this. Because Caitlyn allegedly been practicing she was doing this hard workout, so hard that you hurt your ankle. How you do a really hard workout without any contact and hurt your ankle? Yeah, right. Yeah, freaking right. Would you slip on a banana peel? You feel what I'm saying? Like, ain't no way Shorty did a whole workout without contact and got hurt. Like, you that fragile? So I just don't believe they're being fully honest, and I want to know why. I want to dig into the deep, like the crevices of why. So, even though her presence obviously is signaling she's gonna be coming back, so we know she's coming back. Now the next part of this conversation is this gonna be the difference between the playoffs or them packing up early? They is the Fever. The Fever dropped to 8 seed. They were sitting comfortable at 6 for a little minute. They even tied with the Las Vegas Aces for a little bit for 5th and 6th. And now they're sitting at 8, which is the spot that is determined. Like, only 8 teams make it to the playoffs. How can I say it? Like the final seed spot? I just think every single possession for this Indiana Fever team counts. But should they be optimistic because Caitlyn is returning? Here's where it gets layered. I don't know if Caitlyn returning is going to automatically fix all these leaking holes in this Indiana Fever boat. They got too many leaking holes, man. They're sinking. They're struggling to stay afloat. You feel what I'm saying? And they're riddled with injury. And it seems like, aside from just Caitlyn returning, Aaliyah and Kelsey Mitchell damn near have to put out perfect performances in order for them to even have some hope. You know what I'm saying? I think they lost their last 4 of 5 games. It's just not looking good for them. So real quick, I started off with her on the court. Off the court, I want to talk real quick and what impacts this is going to have moving forward here in this next month or so. Because while some people are probably really excited that Caitlyn's coming back, I think some people aren't excited because we know how much attention she draws from the media. I mean, look at me, I have a whole segment with her, and she draws a lot of attention. She just snagged a massive deal with Nike. She was already signed to Nike, but now she's a signature athlete, complete with her own logo and apparel, and is slated to come out soon. Now, that's blockbuster level branding, if you ask me. And not just for her, but for the entire WNBA. Because you could go on to Nike, not really know what's going on in the basketball world, and see this woman. Oh my gosh. Getting a call and stuff. Okay. But yeah. So, but I just think the branding is just adding a lot of hype and a lot of added pressure. And I'm nervous. I'm nervous for Caitlyn because the world obviously is expecting big plays. They're expecting highlight moments. And this is all even before she's cleared to play. Shorty got a 96 2K rating. She got signed to Nike with this huge brand deal. Now, mind you, it's probably been in the works for a while, but she's also been out for a very long time. She's been out like the whole season. So the fact that she still gets a 96 2K rating, she gets this Nike brand deal. She was in the MVP talks. They talked about the top 10 players in the league right now. She was like number 8. I'm like, hold on. Shorty not even playing. That's a lot of pressure. So if she comes back and the team doesn't do well, critics are going to say the Clark hype train is falling off the rails. And like that narrative, I feel like is going to put, it's like when you kind of risk like the marketing versus the performance. Because it's like, obviously you get all this marketing because you're performing really well. But if the marketing, if the performance isn't matching the marketing, then that could kind of cook her career in so many different ways, not just on the court. You feel me? And so if she comes back and the Fever don't start winning, I think the media and the fans are going to pivot to like from she's the future to did the hype come too early, too fast, too much, too soon, you know? And that's a fine line that she's walking. I don't doubt that she's going to rise to the occasion. That's my prediction. I do think Caitlyn, she's lived in the hype before. I think she's going to live up to it now. But before versus now, Shorty is battling hella injuries. And she's battling like a lot more media like clout. And I think she's battling her fans turning on her. People are turning on her. I don't like that. But that's the reality right now. So I'm excited to see her step back in and see what she does. Whether they win or whether they lose, I still feel like Caitlyn has a lot to improve on as a player. And this is going to end up being a lesson learned. For some type of lesson is going to be learned from Caitlyn. Like, they're going to talk about this years down the road. However the cookie crumbles. Whether they fall out of playoff contention or they manage to stay in playoffs, make it to the first round, Caitlyn doesn't get hurt, I don't know. But she's getting a lot of pressure right now on and off the court, and if she don't perform as fast as she rose, I feel like as fast as Shorty gonna fall. But then I'm also like, she's like the media's darling and one of the main reasons so many people started watching basketball. When I went to D.C., go check out my vlog, Bull Goes to D.C. I went to D.C. and one of the fans said, I interviewed a fan, and he said, to be honest, I didn't even start watching WNBA basketball until Caitlyn started playing, until Angel started playing, until Cameron Brink started playing. And he was like, so I've only been watching for a couple years. And I think that's the same thing for a lot of people. So if Caitlyn does drop off, I'm curious to see what that's going to do to viewership. Does that make sense what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of like how the league and the NBA right now is looking for who's the next face of the league, because for a long time it was LeBron. But now it's like, who's going to be the face of the league when LeBron leave, when Steph leave, when KD leave? I'm getting ahead of myself with those people, but still. It's a conversation. Like, she became the face of the league so fast when she was a rookie. I mean, we could pass the torch on the page. But damn, that quick? Sheesh. Let's see what the comments are saying. King Lion Crown, welcome to the chat. Said, hey, Bree. Well, hi, Bree. Said, hi. How's it going? Oh, someone said that someone stepped on Caitlyn's ankle. I didn't see it. Six foot, 8 foot Aquarius. Welcome to the chat. You always come in to stir the pot. WB said, Bull about to catch some hate. Oh, man. I've been here before. Kelsaw Link said they only have 7 games left. There's not many games to ramp up. I don't hold an injury-plagued season against her. Okay. TG said, I've been watching the WNBA since 1997. I just came into the world in 1997, so I wasn't watching them. But I remember when I was younger, This is how I know the WNBA was not talked about, because I told my mom and everybody, I said, I'm going to be the first female in the NBA. And you want to know why I said that? Because I didn't think they had a WNBA. I didn't even know it existed. Isn't that sad? So like I'm like 5 telling this to people, and I don't know if it's because I was 5 or what. They either didn't know or they just didn't want to hurt my feelings. Like, I just thought there wasn't a professional league when I was younger. The whole time it was legit created the same year I was born. Craziness, y'all. What is the current net worth of the WNBA? Let's look that up. Is that even such a thing? Because, it's like franchisees. Let's see. So the total net worth of the WNBA league is estimated to be around $3.5 billion, which is the collective of its 13 franchises as of late July 2025. And that's a significant increase from the $1.16 billion valuation they got in just last year in June 2024. Golden State Valkyries, when they added them, they're actually the most valuable, sitting at $500 million. Wow. So the league collective net worth has seen a significant growth with a 180% increase in the average franchise value. That's a huge surge. And even with them adding more teams, obviously the valuation is going to increase. But what comes with that is more cost to the business. And a part of that cost is going to be players getting paid. But with Caitlyn, I'm excited that she's about to come back and play. Because, again, we want to talk basketball. We want to see how she is performing on the court. And we haven't had that much of an opportunity to see. Now, before she went down and was plagued by injuries, she was leading. She was up there. Wasn't she leading the league in assists at like 8.5 assists per game? She was averaging 19 or 18 to 19 points per game. And she was averaging 8.5 assists per game. Let me look at her stats real quick on StatMuse, so we can like literally see what we're working with here. Because I actually haven't done that in a long time. Because like she hasn't been playing. So like I don't. Let's see. Caitlin Clark's stats this season. Her last game was July 15th, 2025. And she's played in a total of 13 games. Damn, shorty. Anyway, in those 13 games, she's averaged 16.5 points, 8.8 assists, 5 rebounds in her 13 games. Now, her shooting percentage, she's averaging... Damn! Sorry. Golly, shorty. Sheesh. She's averaging 36.7% from the field goal. Now, hear me out. I didn't have the best field goal percentage either, and that's probably what like separated me from being a great player to a solid player. It's just because like when you're one of the only people on your team that score, there's no excuse. There's no excuse. I'm not even going to continue with this narrative. She is averaging 36.7% from the field goal, and then from the three, she averaging 27.9%. Oh my God. But she's attempting at least 8 threes a game, and she's shooting at least 15 shots per game. So 8 of those shots that she's taking per game, attempting, are threes. 8 threes. She's averaging 8 threes per game. Oh my God. Her best shooting, I think this one time she shot like 7 for 14, I see. Everything else is like 1 for 7, 2 for 7, 1 for 7, 0 for 6, 1 for 10. I'm getting a little stressed out reading these stats. I'm not going to lie, y'all. Let's look at her turnovers. She averaging 5 turnovers. This one game, she had 10 turnovers. To have to be one person had 10 turnovers is diabolical, y'all. And she had 2 back-to-back games where she had 8 turnovers. And I'm just looking at stats, okay? I'm not trying to hate, but I'm just looking at the stats. Oh my God. I'm sorry, Caitlin. My God. I didn't mean to have that knee-jerk reaction like that, baby. My God. But I mean, despite these like really bad stats, her plus or minus like margin isn't bad. Like she averages 6 like on the plus or minus. So, you know. Let me see what the chat's saying. I'm sorry. Look. I'm not trying. Like I said, she only played in 13 games. I'm not trying. She doing cool, but like just looking at how many shots she'll be taking, you know. Oh my God. Now I don't see the amount of shots that she's taking going down because they got a lot of injuries right now. So, yeah. Let me see what the chat's saying. I'm sorry. Oh my gosh. Me Bricks is hilarious. WB. That is so funny. NBA boss said they rushed her back, should have had her out. She talked about not being able to get right, lift on her legs since the injury. She will be back once. Furious ATL Hoops. What's up, man? Welcome to the chat. Definitely my first time seeing you. Unless you change your name. You said hi. Hey. Anthony Jackson said that's diabolical. Shooting less than 30% from 3 is really bad. I'm not gonna lie, like to be considered like a really good 3-point shooter. I don't know if like she's considered a really good 3-point shooter. I think it's just entertaining to watch her shoot the threes and make the ones that she does. You know, that's why she got that State Farm logo commercial and stuff, and she just got her own logo with Nike. So like her shooting from the logo has always been a thing. God. If I'm going to hold Angel Reese accountable, y'all, we got to hold Caitlin accountable. This is insane. Angel's shooting better than that. Angel's shooting 46% from the field. My God. Real Money said, even with those stats, she remains the standard. That's so crazy. Yeah, Tulip said Iowa gave her the ultimate green light and bad habits die slow. I agree. And I think they also enabled her to think when she got on this Indiana Fever team that she was going to be the end-all be-all. But now you have Aaliyah, Kelsey. You got people around you that actually can contribute to the success of the team. And maybe if I'm hoping when she comes back, she's recognized that since she's been gone. But I don't know, y'all. I don't know. She might come back and try to be like, this is my team again. And I think Stephanie White and the coaching staff enabled that too. Yes, we have a great person star, but I don't think we should just completely make a system that works for everyone. Not just a system that's going to work for your guards and sometimes dunk it in to Aaliyah. You feel what I'm saying? Like, let's make a system that works for everyone. I got faith in them doing that. Yeah. Yeah, man. So, let me ask this question. I think I just yelled at y'all. My fault. Hype or help? Clark's comeback. Is it hyped up or is it going to help? I've said before, I don't think anything could hurt this Indiana Fever team at this point. They need some help. And with it becoming so crucial and they don't have that many games left. And we're going to talk more about them when we get to tonight's tip-off. When we're going to dig into the nitty-gritty of what they face today. But I don't anticipate it hurting. Her estimated return date on the injury report on ESPN was September 2nd. So, what's today? The 26th? September 2nd, I think. Let me check. I think they play the Lynx. Am I tripping? Let me see. Fever schedule. I didn't mean to let that huge huff puff out. My fault, yo. Okay. So if she's set to return on the 2nd, this is just according to ESPN. Doesn't make it true. She would miss this Storm game tonight. They travel to the Sparks on Friday. Then they play the Valkyries on Sunday. So the teams that they're battling position for, they play them. And then they play the Mercury on Tuesday, which is the 2nd. So, but it's an away game. To me, that's odd. To me, that's very odd that she would come back on an away game. But hey, it's not unheard of. It's not totally weird, but I would just I don't know. Anyway, she could come back on that Phoenix Mercury game. Like, if she can play, why do you have her missing the Storm, the Sparks, and the Valkyrie? Why would you have her missing them? That's weird. Okay. So they would bring her back to play against the Mercury, the Chicago Sky, the Mystics, and the Lynx on Tuesday, September 9th. So that's the rest of their schedule. Maybe that is strategy because they're like, okay, we'll bring them back against the Sky, who's already eliminated, the Mystics, who could possibly be eliminated, but we'll see how that goes, and then the Lynx. Let's see if she even stays healthy for these 7 games coming up here. But yeah, she's supposed to come back versus that Mercury team. We gonna see, man. We gonna see. I hope she comes back and does really well. This is not me trying to hate or nothing. I would love to see how her last, if she misses 2, how her last 5 games will go. Would love to see that. Okay, let's move on. Next topic. We're doing good on time. I love all the activity in the chat. Keep it going. Furious Fever came in the chat, said, Bree, great show. Thanks, Furious. I appreciate you. Thanks for the feedback. Okay. Let us head on to the next topic. Oh, real quick. Are y'all purchasing some Caitlyn Nike merch? How y'all feel about the logo? Y'all finna, y'all finna get some Caitlin Clark logo? Some gear? I ain't mad at it. I don't know if I'll buy it. I don't have any. The only thing basketball logo I have, the only thing I have some J. Cole Dreamers, and those are Pumas. I have J. Cole Dreamers. Maybe I'll bring them to the stream one day, and I'll show you my J. Cole Dreamers. And then I have a Kings jersey, and it's white chocolate. I might wear that one day too, once the NBA kick back up. I got Jason Williams jersey, and then that's it. I don't got no NBA stuff. I don't got no. Oh, I have a pair of LeBrons and I have a pair of Paul George PGs. I tried a pair of. I got to get some Kobe's, obviously, but I tried a pair of Kyrie's and I didn't like how they fit. I also tried Anthony Edwards, didn't like how they fit. Now the James Harden, I want a pair of James Harden because them joints feel like I'm walking on clouds. I like James Harden shoes. Anyway, went way off topic there. Chicago Cheetah said I wouldn't buy it. Anthony Jackson said ain't nobody buying that except them damn Clarkies. Anthony hilarious. WB said I like too many sports to be spending money every time someone drops signature apparel. Yeah, and I've had debates with people about this and how oversaturated the signature apparel has become, because to me it used to be the top of the top had shoe deals. You feel me? When Derrick Rose dropped his shoe, it was he's the youngest MVP. He was. But you know what I mean? That was tough. And then Steph dropped his shoes, even though they were Under Armour. We were like, yikes. Under Armour wasn't really doing well in shoes yet. They've gotten better, but still, it was kind of dang, they the best. Now anybody can have a shoe line, and you're just kind of oh, okay. It's oversaturated. It's not really all that cool anymore, at least to me. Scotty Boy said, of course, as long as it's not Asia. Wait. Scotty Boy, don't tell me you hating on the GOAT. Don't tell me you hating on the GOAT, man. Let's get it's time to move on. It's time to move on to the next segment. Okay. All right. Race to September. Who will not secure that playoff spot? The Fever, Sparks, Valkyries, or Mystics? Let's run down the standings before I get into my mini monologue that I love doing so dearly. Current standings are, we have number one in Minnesota. Number one obviously is the Minnesota Lynx. They have a 30-7 win-loss record. They are on a 2-game win streak. Atlanta Dream sit at number 2 with a 24-13 win-loss record. And then right behind them are the Las Vegas Aces with 25-14. And they're on an 11-game win streak. All right. So despite Atlanta Dream being number 2 and the Las Vegas Aces being number 3 overall, the Las Vegas Aces have clinched the playoffs, and we'll talk more about that. So it's 2 teams that have clinched the playoffs. It's the Minnesota Lynx, Las Vegas Aces. 3 teams that have been eliminated is the Connecticut Sun, the Chicago Sky, and the Dallas Wings. Let's move on to spot number 4. Phoenix Mercury holds that spot at a 22-14 game loss record, win record. And then we have the New York Liberty at number 5, and they're 23-15. So they have a .605 win percentage. So that puts them right behind the Phoenix Mercury just a tad. And the Phoenix Mercury play tonight, so that can either secure their spot or they'll tie themselves with the New York Liberty. Well, not secure their spot, but it'll keep it. Literally, the Phoenix Mercury and New York Liberty, the Phoenix Mercury and the New York Liberty are battling out for home court advantage at this point. You know, are they going to get their home court advantage, or, you know, who are they going to end up playing in the first round? That's what they're battling it out for at this point. Yeah. And then you got Seattle Storm, who were sitting at number 4 for a while. Then they dropped to the 8th seed, all the way down to the 8th seed. And now they are back up at number 6. I guess that ESPN hot take that dropped a couple weeks ago was right. They said that the Seattle Storm was going to come back. And now they're sitting at 20-18. Well, and they're on a 3-game win streak. And they played they are going to Indiana and play the Fever tonight. And they struggle against the Indiana Fever. They have throughout the season. And we're going to see if they're going to tonight, despite not having Caitlin. And then number 7 is the Golden State Valkyrie, and they've been kind of trending around that area, 6, 7, chilling at 8. Like, they trended around like there for a while. And they have a 19-18 record. And they are tied with the Indiana Fever, but the Indiana Fever played tonight. So, who knows? Now, the Golden State Valkyrie have a very difficult schedule ahead of them. And we just looked up the Indiana Fever's schedule. So let's look up the Golden State Valkyrie schedule. And then in addition to that, we will talk about how number 9 and 10 Sparks and Mystics. Right now, the Sparks are 17-18 and the Washington Mystics are 16-22. But the Sparks play tonight. You feel what I'm saying? It's getting spicy, y'all. It's getting spicy. Okay, hold on. Let's look up the Golden State Valkyrie schedule, and then we'll go into some thoughts on all of that I wrote down. Okay, Golden State Valkyrie. Every time I type in Valkyrie, it switches to the Warriors, and I'd be like, bro, calm down. Okay, so they don't play again until Saturday, so they get in their rest. They play Saturday against the Mystics. Then they got 4 home games coming up. 5 home games coming up. That's actually pretty lucky. To have 5 home games in a row is insane. They host the Mystics, the Fever, then the Liberty, the Dallas Wings, the Minnesota Lynx, and then they finish off their season at the Seattle Storm. So playing the Mystics, I think, is going to be a tough game for them. Both sides. And then the Fever, just depending. Caitlin's not going to be back by then. And then on Tuesday, September 2nd, they play the New York Liberty. Dallas Wings, you know, they're down bad right now. I saw JJ Quinierly had that season-ending ACL injury, unfortunately, which is like, wow. First lead, now JJ. And then they host the Minnesota Lynx and then go to the Storm. Yeah, it's a tough one. It's a doozy. We'll see. And then, like I said, the 3 teams at the bottom there that are eliminated. Let's talk. Let's see. All right. So, let's discuss the WNBA playoff picture. Like I said, 2 teams have punched their tickets. Minnesota Lynx got back their beloved Nafisa, who not only when she came back and dropped 32. Okay, damn girl. All right. But then we also got the Las Vegas Aces now, who clinched their playoff spot, and they are on an astounding 11-game win streak. So I want to say that the chaos is pretty. It's looking good for these 2 teams, but the chaos is like everywhere else in the league. So, like I said, it's a dogfight for the final 2 spots. 4 teams are super close, and it's those 4 that I listed down here. They're all fighting for seeds 7 and 8, possibly 6. I guess if that matters for you based on playoff picture and who you can end up playing if you're sitting at 6. But it's like, you know, if you sit at 6, then maybe you'll play someone who's more even to you versus if you're 7 and 8, it's like, damn, we made it in, but you got to play somebody at the top, right? So, and you're definitely not going to have home court advantage. It's like a lot of things that you got to battle just to get to where you want to go. And the Valkyries, in my opinion, hold the edge because they have so many home court advantages, and we know how that Golden State Valkyrie fandom is. It's insane, right? But again, they have a slightly brutal schedule, so we'll see. The Fever are clinging to that 8th seed, but it's looking shaky. Like we talked about, Caitlyn is going to return, but Aaliyah and Kelsey, yeah, they're going to have to do everything they can in their whole freaking power. Damaris, Odyssey, how y'all think that they've been playing? You think Fever going to be able to hold it together? Or is my dark horse LA Sparks team going to come through? Huh? I don't know. Every day my faith starts to wane for the Sparks, but I can't give up on them now. I cannot give up on them now. In my ideal world, I honestly, I would love to see the Mystics make their way in. I'm not going to lie. Like, after seeing them play in person, I literally fell in love with Sonya. I'm not going to lie. I did. Like, if you watched her in person, like, on the TV is cool, but you see her in person, you're like, damn, man. She's something special. And that Mystics team, their chemistry is undeniable. I don't know. But in my perfect world, this is tough. Just knock Seattle out of there and get the Mystics and LA Sparks and knock the Fever out too, y'all. I'm sorry. Get them out of there. My dream is having the Golden State Valkyrie, the Washington Mystics, and the LA Sparks all make it in. And just get Seattle Storm and Indiana out of there. Like, that would be my perfect ending. But the Seattle Storm, they're not out of it. ESPN puts their playoff chances at a solid 95.1%. And so far, they haven't been wrong, despite their August scare. ESPN hasn't been wrong about the Seattle Storm. So, we gonna see. But that was kind of us talking about that, and I want to take a moment and pause before we talk about the top of the standings and what could happen with those teams and stuff like that. I want to see what y'all have to say. Zoe says Sparks are taking the 8th spot. Hey. Okay. The LA versus Indy matchup could be crucial. It's going to be so crucial, especially depending on what happens tonight. Like, I think if the Sparks win and the Indiana lose, it's going to be detrimental for Indiana when they play the Sparks. If they both lose tonight, I think it's still going to be a detrimental game, but it's like, it's kind of like, all right, it's going to be more favorable for Indiana, in my opinion, if they both lose tonight. And then if they both win, we just continue the same conversation. Like, all right, this game is going to be, it's crucial either way, however we look at it. Real Money said, you see how different the feel is when speaking on the Valks fans and the Fever fans? Yeah, man, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, as much as like I've talked about Angel and Caitlyn, I don't like talking about them because their fans just make it so negative. Like, man, we can't just talk basketball. Because when I'm talking Golden State Valkyrie or Sparks, it be good vibes in the chat. And I could be saying the same thing. Like, yes, Rakia does need to improve. On if she's going to be their go-to option, which to me it seems like Rakia wants to be their number one option, or they even let her be. You feel me? I just think she does need to be more consistent. And that's going to come with time. But she's going to take all these shots. Absolutely. She does need to be consistent. But I could say that, and there ain't going to be nobody in the chat calling me a woman hater. I'm tearing black women down. Like, what? You feel what I'm saying? Like, oh, my gosh. So, yeah, it is a little bit lighter when we talk about a team like the Mystics. It's a lot more lighter and fun. For sure. I see some Sparks fan in there rolling. I literally, I wish I could keep up, but I can't keep up. Y'all are so lit in this chat. I love it so much. But I'm like, I see some of y'all talking back and forth to each other, and I'm kind of lost in like where the point started and where y'all at now in the conversation. So, Scotty Boy says Sparks for sure. They just allergic to defense. Absolutely. Random Dude says Sparks have a tough schedule. Storms are old. Fever are hurt. JT, welcome to the chat, or welcome back. You keep talking about the Atlanta Dream. We ain't gonna talk about them today. Henry T. Hurley Jr., welcome to the chat. Oh. I don't know what's going on. Y'all beefing. Yep. Make sure we being kind and nice to each other. All right. We are this, is it a big deal, little deal? Make sure we being kind. Nation of Lions said, I think the Mystics are tanking. Really? You got to see them play, man. They really could surprise us all. Not gonna lie. Oh yeah, let's talk about the game differentials real quick again one more time. So the Mystics are 16-22. While the Sparks are 17-18. Yeah, I mean the Mystics are on a 4-game lose streak, but they're still like not eliminated yet. Let's see who they Let's see who they play coming up here. I know they played the Golden State Valkyrie on Saturday. Let's see. Thursday, they played the New York Liberty. Ooh. Then the Valkyries. Then the Sparks on Sunday, which the Sparks, in my opinion, could get their get back. And then they played the Mercury, the Fever, and then they played the Liberty again. So they got a very difficult schedule. Yeah, I don't know about the Mystics. I don't know about them either. I'll be real. I don't know. Randy Mayo says Sparks are getting the AC or the Mystics. So, in Randy Mayo's world, it could be 6 seed is what? The Storm? Go to State Who's y'all bottom 6? Like 6 and below. Who y'all got? Cause right now it's Storm, Valkyrie, and Indiana tied for 7 and 8. Golden State Valkyrie can end up losing. That they just always surprise us, They be surprising us how they beat teams sometimes. Surprise in a good way. TG said Candace Parker jersey retirement in the Wintrust Arena, Chicago Sky was yesterday. She got her jersey. Anthony Jackson says, I kind of want the Fever to make the playoffs just so they won't say, look, they didn't make the playoffs without Clark. Oh, man. WB said, Burton is on fire. Valks are making the playoffs. Yaka Pero, welcome to the chat. He said Sparks aren't beating the Mercury. Okay. So, oh yeah, real money. Cause I did bring up. I do wanna call this out because he said they don't want to talk about that. Paige scores 9 points when they put CC defense package on her. I do want to point out that Paige Beckers will stick like the best person on the team, and still be the best on her team. I think that's really cool. Whereas though with Caitlyn, they do hide her on defense, y'all. She probably stick in there like their fourth or third scoring option. Just want to point that out there. Okay. Okay, since we're talking about, players, let's talk about tonight's game. We'll move on to this next segment. We're about an hour in, and this will wrap us up on tonight's tip-off. So, the Indiana Fever host the Seattle Storm at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. You can catch the game on CBS, so it's going to be on TV if you have cable, streaming services, etc. And then you can catch the Mercury versus Sparks at 10 p.m. Eastern Time on the NBA TV channel, which if you're going out tonight, they be having that on the bars. Ask them to cut the game on. You know what I'm saying? You Taco Tuesday? Tacos and WNBA? I'm always trying to advocate for viewership, all right? Like, we got to actually watch these games and sit here talking that crap about them. But shout out to everybody who's here with me right now watching. I really appreciate you. I hope you had a good day at work. If you had off today, I hope you got done everything you needed to get done. And just tell me how you doing. How you feeling? I hope we talking basketball, but I care about you. You're here with me. You're listening. I genuinely care about you, and I'm really grateful that you're supporting and here. Thank you. But yeah. So tonight's tip off. Make sure if you haven't already, get the WNBA League Pass app. Let's get into it. So the odds for you gamblers out there, if you don't know the odds right now, I don't know why that's clicked off. So FanDuel has the Seattle Storm winning this game at a negative 3.5, which is kind of low key. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, this Indiana Fever team, even though they not the favorites to win, it's not like they got them getting blown out or anything, because like I said in the past, they've actually blown the Seattle Storm out, and the Seattle Storm struggle with them. So let's talk about the needs to knows. Seattle allows the second fewest opponent 3-point field goals attempts per game, while Kelsey Mitchell of the Indiana ranks third in 3-point field goals made. So if I'm this Seattle Storm team, who are you putting on Kelsey? I'm putting Gabby on her. Right out the gate. Let's throw Gabby on Kelsey. There's a considerable size distance discrepancy, but I'm not concerned. Gabby Williams has that length. She has a great on-ball defense. I don't see her struggling guarding against Kelsey. I just see maybe Aaliyah is going to have, and Natasha and Lexi, they're going to have to work really hard, Damaris, to get these good solid screens set for Kelsey Mitchell. Last time these two teams saw each other was earlier this month, August 3rd, and Indiana Fever, without Caitlin Mitchell, beat the Seattle Storm 78-74. Okay? But I don't think they had Brittany Sykes yet. Did they? Let me look at the box score real quick. I don't think they did. I'm not tripping. Am I tripping? Yeah, Brittany wasn't on the team yet. So keep that in mind, too. Because we all know how much of an impact Brittany Sykes has on the Seattle Storm team. And I think it was a fantastic trade on their part. And we've seen her become one of their second, probably not first. Nneka probably still got that. But she's definitely doing a lot better scoring than Gabby Williams is. It's probably like Nneka, Brittany, Sky, Gabby, maybe Dominic Malonga might even be up there in their fit. Like, they got scoring options to go to. Maybe Sky Diggs. Maybe I think I have her up there too high. Anyway, we can debate that, but that's not what we're really here for. Yeah, with Brittany Sykes, I think this changes the dynamic dramatically for this Indiana Fever team in regards to their defense and how they will match up against the Seattle Storm team. Now, we've seen a lot of success for teams who end up playing them in a zone. However, I don't know if this, I've seen Indiana Fever zone. I don't know how I feel about it. How y'all feel about this Indiana Fever team zone? And if you think that's maybe the direction they might lean towards with this Seattle Storm team, since it seems to have worked in the past. But that was before Brittany Sykes. Now you got a 3-point threat out there. Maybe a zone isn't the best idea. Okay, they also saw each other. They've only seen each other twice, but the last time they saw was June 24th. They had Caitlin, and Caitlin went down in this game, and they beat them 94-86. But even in the past, man, the Fever have like blown the Storm up. So the last 3 times they've played, the Indiana Fever have won. Let's see if they have this fixed yet. Oh, thank God. The WNBA website been down bad. Okay, so projected starters for the Seattle Storm is Ezzy, Nneka, Gabby, Skylar, and Brittany Sykes, who we all talked about, hey, are they going to move her to the starting lineup? And who are they going to take out? And, of course, they took out Erica Wheeler, and Erica Wheeler's season has went down the toilet since Brittany Sykes has joined the team, and I don't like that. It really frustrates me, and I talk about that all the time. But what they do is they start Ezzy, and then they don't even really play her that much. Which, again, I don't like that coaching decision. But, hey, I'm not the coach. And soon I don't think Shorty will be their coach either. But that's another conversation. But, yeah, then for the Indiana Fevers starting 5, they have Aaliyah Boston, Natasha Howard, Lexi Hall, Kelsey Mitchell, and Odyssey Sims. Okay. Looking at these matchups, okay, so they're probably going to put Odyssey on Skylar. I'm telling y'all, they're going to put Gabby on Kelsey. I don't think they're going to put Skylar on Kelsey. If they do that, then they stupid. Put Brittany on Lexi, because let's not have her work too hard on defense, so that she could save her legs for offense. And then Nneka and Aaliyah are going to battle it out. And then Ezzy and Natasha maybe. This is just me. These are just all guesses. You don't want to put... I wouldn't put Natasha on Nneka because you could get Natasha in foul trouble quicker than you could get Aaliyah. But, again. These are all conversations. Let's see what y'all got to say. Let's check the chat. What's up, DJ? Jakob said Dom's been cooking lately. Dominique Malonga has been cooking, and I see her improvement as she has so much potential. Where the Storm falls short is their inability to move on offense, and I think we're starting to see a lot more movement with them, and they need to just make smarter decisions on when to cut. Oftentimes, I just see players dribbling the air out the ball and nobody's making a cut, or even Skylar attempting to make plays happen, and it's just no chemistry really. They're not reading the room. Read the room, y'all. Nations of Lions said, I got Fever by 33. You got the Fever beating the Storm tonight by 33 points? I'm sorry, bro. I don't know if that's going to happen. Random dude said Malonga's been the best rookie since the All-Star game. No. No way. I just seen Dominique Malonga versus Angel Reese, and I'm sorry, Angel Reese was not having it with Dominique. Dominique tried to do her cute little whatever, and Angel said, get that out of there, shorty. This my paint. You feel what I'm saying? I think Sonia Citron is a better rookie than Dominique Malonga. They don't even play the same position, so I hate that I'm comparing. You feel what I'm saying? I'll probably even Kiki is in a different position than Dominique. and she's used differently in her team than Dominique. But I still think because they play so much similar position. I still think like Kiki is a better player fundamentally right now, and Dominique needs a lot more training, a lot more growth, a lot more love. You feel what I'm saying? I think she's gonna be great. She can end up being better than Kiki in the long run for sure. But she has a lot of development, and it has to do with just her maturity. She's a rookie, obviously, but I just see the way she plays. She's still kind of loose with it. You know, I love how she could go downhill. Is she left-handed? I see her go to the left a lot. But I see her teammates get a little frustrated with her because of her decision-making. You feel what I'm saying? She don't really pick and choose when to pass the ball, when to hold it, when to cut very well. And you could see that falling short at times. But there's a lot of factors contributing to that. Who do I think's going to win tonight? Seattle Storm or the Indiana Fever? I think this is the Seattle Storm's time. They're going to get their get back. They're on I think that with this addition with Brittany is really the difference maker. If they didn't have Brittany Sykes, I would probably be like, I'm not really sure, to be honest. But because they have Brittany, it puts this Indiana Fever chain in a predicament because now they're definitely outsized. I mean, they already were small and they've been outsized, but it just even adds to that depth because you have a 3-point threat that now puts you at a size differential deficit, at a size deficit. So, I mean, I know that the Indiana Fever have a really good perimeter defense, but that was before Ari went down. All right. Odyssey, Shorty gonna do what she can. She old. Seattle's old. We got some old heads out there. So we gonna see. I think it's also gonna come down to fouls and what they do with NECA. Because I think NECA struggles against the Fever because they have a really great, I think Aaliyah and Natasha do a fantastic job from preventing NECA from getting comfortable in the spots that she's usually comfortable with. And they do a really great job guarding her on that turnaround. That's why I think it could be Aaliyah versus NECA, but it also could possibly be they might have Natasha go against NECA. They damn sure should not put Damaris Dantas against NECA. I feel like that'd be the dumbest thing they ever do in their entire life. Let Damaris and Ezzy play against each other. You feel what I'm saying? That seems a little bit more even and reasonable. But what NECA is gonna do is gonna force Natasha or Aaliyah to come outside the paint because you know that NECA sometimes lives outside the three. And I noticed that she can hit that three every once in a while, and it does spread the defense out. So, again, I think the Fever are going to struggle to size up against the Seattle Storm team, and the Seattle Storm team is giving me the impression that they're going to make their shots tonight. So, yeah, I got the Storm winning. Nations of Lions said I picked the Fever because the Storm can't shoot from the outside. Okay, so let's move on real quick. Let's move on to this Mercury versus Sparks game. All right, because I'm really excited to see the Sparks play. To me, they need a win more. They need a win more bad than is that even the right way to say it? They need to win more bad than the Fever do. Because even though the Fever are tied with the Golden State Valkyrie, they're still 2 games ahead, right? Let me look at standings real quick. They're still 2 games ahead, a 2-game win deficit ahead of the Sparks. Like, the Sparks need to win. Or they're if they don't win tonight, they're moving closer to elimination than they are moving to actually making and securing this 8th spot. Okay? They need to win really bad tonight. And they play Phoenix Mercury. And I feel like them beating the Phoenix Mercury isn't only going to help them with their playoff contention race. It's going to show that if they do make the playoffs, they have what it takes to beat a top team like the Phoenix Mercury, who, not that they don't have a lot that they're playing for or they're not going to play hard, but let's face it, the Phoenix Mercury are going to make the playoffs. At this point, they're playing for home court advantage. Let us talk about it. That's for you, Tulip. Shout out to Tulip. That was my British accent. Let us continue on. needs to know. Okay, so what are the odds for this game? Same odds as the Seattle Storm and Fever. This Phoenix Mercury team is the favorites to win with a negative 3.5 spread, which is interesting because they have a 22-14 record versus this 17-18 record of the LA Sparks. So the fact that the odds are that close, to me, that's small. That's a small gap. Considering the odds. Need to know, Phoenix Mercury allows the second fewest opponent points in the paint per game, while the LA Sparks leads the league in points in the paint per game, thanks to De'Erica Amby. You got De'Erica. Rakia likes to score in there. She don't shoot that many threes. Rakia prefers that pull-up. Rakia prefers to go downhill. Then you got Azare, who's been living on the three-point line. But for a while now, she was pretty active the beginning of the season on the block. And I'd like to see her go back down there. But it seems like this Sparks team has no problem with keeping Azare out. But she's just so big. I would want her to go back down there a little bit. Just keep it even, y'all. Please. But go with what works too, you know. I ain't mad at that. And then even Kelsey Plum. To me, Kelsey would rather go downhill than shoot because she has the amazing ability to beat defenders off that first dribble. Shout out to Kelsey Plum. Always loved her. But she goes downhill. So yeah. And even Julie Alleman, she don't really score that much, but she's making plays and creating plays, and a lot of these plays that she's creating is them in the paint in that area. So that makes sense. But the Phoenix Mercury are a huge team. One of the largest, I think, on that side of biggest teams in the league. I don't know how else to say that without all these pauses. The last time these two teams seen each other, they played each other twice, but it's been months. So they played each other back in June 1st, 2025, and the Phoenix Mercury beat the Los Angeles Sparks 85-80. And this is before the Los Angeles Sparks, in my opinion, because June was too early for them. They weren't all the way ready. They just got Kelsey on the trade. Sorry. They didn't have Cameron. They were a completely different team than what they are right now. So I want to point that out. Then they seen each other in May 2025, and the Phoenix Mercury again beat them 89-86. So these are two games that where the Sparks lost by a very, very small margin. So although that they 2-0 against them this season, it wasn't like they were blowouts. The Sparks gave and again, that was before they had Cameron. Before they started finding their rhythm and figuring out who they were as a team. All right? They don't have the projector starters out there yet, but I can tell you right now who I think is going to start. All right, so for the Sparks team, I got For the Sparks team, I got Kelsey, Julie Alleman, Azare Stevens, De'Erica Amby, and Rakia Jackson. I don't see any reason to switch it up. They're not gonna bring Cameron off the bench. You feel me? Now, I mean, they're not gonna start Cameron. She's gonna come off the bench. She might come off the bench way sooner. Her and Ray Burrell might come in way sooner because, like I said, this Phoenix team is pretty large, and I'm concerned for Kelsey Plum a little bit, and a little bit for Julie. When I went and saw them play against the Washington Mystics, I was like, them girls are small. And the announcer said that Kelsey Plum was 5'6", and she went over to them and corrected them. She was like, I'm 5'8". Shorty is small. So she's gonna struggle. And this Phoenix Mercury team is so unique because their heart of their offense is Miss AT. And she's a tall player. So the matchups are going to be really unique. Let's see who let me think who I got starting for this Phoenix Mercury team. Definitely AT. Probably Satu. Then Probably Kayla Cooper. Natasha Mack. And then probably Monique. Now, even though they start Monique, DeWanna Bonner actually kind of plays a lot more, if not more than Monique. So that's why I was kind of hesitant. Like, could they start DeWanna? But I don't see any reason. Why not? Like when the Sparks are ready to sub in Cameron, that's probably when Mercury will be ready to sub in DeWanna and vice versa. I'm kind of ready to see this DeWanna Bonner and Cameron Brink matchup. I could assume that they would play against each other. And then like when you got Sammy Whitcomb out there, Julie Allenman is probably going to end up sticking her, or even Burrell. But like, I don't know. You got like maybe Rakia matched up with Satu. Who gonna stick AT? It's probably gonna be Rakia actually. I don't know. Don't put De'Erica Amby on AT. I'm actually a little starting to get concerned for the Sparks because I'm starting to think like, who is gonna stick Alyssa Thomas? Oh my god. Maybe they do start Cameron Brink, but then bring who off the bench? Nah, yo, they're not gonna do that. I'm just rambling. Let me look at the chat. I'm thinking a lot. I'm a little nervous for them. Random dude said Rakia can't dribble to save her life. She just gotta get lower. She just dribbles like, she's tall, she's long. Like for her to be a guard, she's like on the tall side of guards and like her lengthwise. I think she just needs to get a little more comfortable with dribbling. I don't think she's like terrible. She just, her size and stuff, she doesn't move, very well with the ball because she's standing so tall. She needs to get a little lower to make her better at dribbling. See the chat saying, Baby Huey, welcome to the chat. Chicago Cheetah said, I think the Los Angeles Sparks win tonight. They did not have Cameron Brink, and they only lost by 3 in both meetings. I love that point. If Cameron Brink, the beautiful gazelle she is, if she stays out of foul trouble, I think it would help tremendously. But once that she gets into foul trouble and then they stop swinging the ball around, that's when the Sparks start to fall apart. When Rakia starts taking it every possession, they fall apart. But when they start, I think they get their spark, like no pun intended. When De'Erica Amby starts making it in, it starts to get them fired up because now they have to focus on her. That leaves Azarae a little more free to hit her shots. That leaves Kelsey a little more freedom to work her magic. Because once Kelsey gets in the paint, I love Kelsey's ability to find her players. But it's not just about Kelsey being able to find the Sparks team. It's the fact that they actually cut for them to be found. Every time she goes, it's always one player that is like, let me go and let me follow in. I love the LA Sparks coaching system because you could just tell they drilled that into the players. Like, hey, you see Kelsey get this deep? Make sure someone's cutting. Because every time someone cuts her, the way she makes a pass is always like kind of low-key last minute. But I don't even consider it a bailout. Like, I just genuinely think she's really good at doing that. And her team, the chemistry is really there. So, I'm just nervous. I'm just a little nervous for this matchup. I'm nervous for the Sparks defense. I always am. I'm always nervous for their defense. But one thing that the Phoenix Mercury does is like to slow it down. And I think that might hurt the Sparks team a little bit if they don't maintain tempo of this game. Obviously, basketball is a game of runs, but for the Sparks, if they don't keep the tempo, then they lose. Like, it's really easy for them to die out. Like, it's so easy for them to fall apart. But even though they've lost by small margins, they still lost. You feel me? So we're going to see. We're going to see what ends up happening. Another thing about the Sparks team is when they're down, they very rarely come back. It's like when they're down, they start making like waves, but because their defense is so poor that they don't get enough stops to suffice for their points and things like that. So, I don't know. We gonna see. I love the Brits never pronounce the T in British. It's WB said that. Tulip, is that true? I wish I could drop a lettuce emoji in the chat. All right. Real quick, to wrap it up. Yeah, we're at perfect time. So my two wins for tonight, and this is like what I hope versus my basketball analysis. But I'm hoping that what I hope for is that the Storm, hate to say it, but I want the Storm team to beat the Fever, and then I want the Sparks to beat the Mercury. From my basketball perspective, I think what's gonna happen is the Storm's gonna beat the Fever, and then the Mercury's gonna beat the Sparks. But we gonna see. I gave y'all what I hope happens, and then I'm looking at it like this is what actually might happen. But, I could be wrong on both fronts. Remember this, all right? So when we reconvene, y'all can tell me how right or how wrong I was. What's up, Rick? Welcome to the chat. Salute. I hope you're doing well today as well. Random dude said the Storm and the Mercury to win. Okay, so let's go. Just gonna take us back here to the very bottom, the very top. Just to kind of like wrap us up. Again, WNBA season is winding down. All these games coming up are super crucial. The injury report, we got Stewie back. We got Nafisa back. We got Angel back. We're about to get Caitlin back. You feel what I'm saying? These are all key players and people that I want to see play. But I do notice that people are getting crazy hurt, and I don't want to contribute it to the fact that the schedule is longer and they got less breaks, blah, blah, blah. Like, I just don't think that's a factor at all. And what to get into the mindset and think that you need more rest when you only have 44 games, I can't imagine what it's going to look like when they add all these teams that they're going to have by 2030. There's going to have to be more games. As for a schedule reform, but don't accuse the league of not caring about player safety when they're just trying to figure out, when y'all literally have 6 days off. Like, y'all, like, you see what I'm saying? Like, it's a disconnect somewhere. That's my biggest takeaway from today's stream. If you took anything away, really think about how these women have been advocating for their rights, for their playing, for their money. And if it really has been, is it really beneficial for the league as a whole, for the community, for the culture? You feel what I'm saying? Like, is it really what's best for the culture? But as always, it's been an absolute pleasure. I'm really grateful for y'all. I can't say it enough. I say it every time because I really mean it. Gratitude is like one of my favorite things. So, good favorite things. I don't even know what I'm trying to say, but I am grateful for y'all. And if I could say it times a million, I will, and I won't stop saying it. Thank you so much for all your support. If you haven't already, make sure you drop the like. Thank you for all the activity in the chat. I appreciate y'all. Y'all make my day brighter every single time. And I look forward to the next time we kick it and we talk basketball. Just remember, if you know bull, you know ball. All right, I'll see y'all